Hey guys, welcome to Realistic Crypto. I'm Mark. I'm going to be covering another 3Commas DCA bot passive income update. I last covered one of these last week. Since then, I've also published a video that will take you through how I find these bots and how I backtest them and make sure that they're all working. So I'll leave a link to that somewhere and in the description below. So if you want to check that out, you can do. I don't expect this video to be long today. We'll just cover over the last week's gains, what they look like, and maybe some of the challenges that we've encountered this week. So first of all, taking a look at the dashboard, we have $1.40 today. It's probably not one of the best days that we've had. And again, you know what, this week, $11 from yesterday. It counts it in the week period, but the last 7 days, 164 and 18, not too bad. And so far this month, 265. Now, looking across that, the pre-bot, the key bot, and the ADA bull bot are the ones that are the most profitable in the last 24 hours, 7 days, and 30 days. And what we'll also do is we'll jump in very quickly to have a look at all of the bots that are running and just look across the 7-day period. So good news, it will start at the bottom. Good news is that we've not got any that are red yet, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But what we do have is we have a good amount of green. Each bot doing a good contribution to the overall amount. So Key's probably the biggest bag. Flux, MTV, again, Flux is one of the bigger bags. MTV is not one of the bigger bags. That's probably one of the smaller ones. That's done relatively well. Render, Pre, we've got another Flux bot. That's a long bot. The other's a short bot. Engine's currently paused. So in the last update, we were down on Engine. I can't remember where we were at, but it wasn't great, and we were in a red position. That came back due to the pullback in the market, so I was pretty pleased that we managed to close that out as well. Mbox, we managed to close that out in a profit too. We have moved that, so we had to recreate that bot. So in the most recent video where I take you through my strategy to build these bots, I accidentally opened one of my TradingView alerts that contained the message for that bot. Now that message would allow somebody to, if they wanted to, open trades, close trades, all by using that message and hitting the 3Commas API. So I had to delete the bot that I had and create a new one, which I've done down here, down here. And as you can see, that's just starting to take some deals. So that's the reason that this one's deleted. So really, the 483 and the 41 cents are added together. Going back to Engine, we need to rebuild that. So that one was already in a deal that was in the red. I didn't close that deal, but I have paused the bot until I get the opportunity to rebuild that and be a bit more comfortable with the settings. I talked about rebuilding all of my bots in last week's update, so that's the last one that's remaining. What you'll also see, ADA Bull, so this is the one that I wrote the article on Medium around that was performing at 1% a day. Given that we've had a pullback in the market, there's some interesting results from that, and we do have an open position that's not closed in a few days, so we'll cover that off in a minute. Deeper, Helium, HNT, so we can see there's 180 deals for the $1.68. It's not quite accurate. We dropped under the minimum base order on Binance for the short, so the base order was trying to open less than $10 worth of base order, and we just got multiple failures until I added some HNT to that account from my helium mining account. So we've put a bit more helium in there, and that's picked up and started to close down trades as well. So again, that's the only one that we've got some challenges on in the 30-day in total. Again, engine, we'll revisit that one. And then some of these other ones are, the rest of these are not active and not running, and again, no red deals. If we just jump quickly into statistics, so you can see that so far for the month we're projected total gains to be looking somewhere around the $365 mark. Not bad if we can get there, which is questionable right now. And the reason that that's questionable, let's have a quick look at the active deals that we've got open, is that we do have some pretty big losses, unrealized losses in Adable and ETH3 long. So both of those are 3x leverage tokens. Yeah, we kind of expected it. We knew it was high risk, and I am almost kicking myself, particularly given the video that I put out around my methods and techniques, because those are the only two bots that I've not included an element of stop loss or timeout around. So yeah, interesting. Now, there's a couple of things that I am waiting for on both of these trades. You know, a couple of 24 hours ago maybe, we were sitting at around $340 loss, so that would have taken out all of the profit for the month and more. But you know, there's a couple of things that I'm waiting on. If we just quickly look on the Bitcoin chart, again, not great. We've got this kind of huge pullback from hitting up to 25,000. What we have been seeing as this after this pullback is almost a series of higher lows and higher highs throughout the period. So I'm expecting to see, and you know, maybe if we zoom out a little bit, there's almost a bit of a double bottom type pattern coming in around here. Look, what we did do is we broke out of this kind of larger bullish pennant. If I just pull back up to the 4 hour, let's get rid of that. We broke out this kind of bull flag / bear flag / bear pennant pattern. We kind of saw this retest, but now that we're seeing this kind of double bottom pattern, I'm wondering whether it's a fake out, and I'm interested to see what happens when we kind of pull back into somewhere up towards this area of what I suspect is resistance. I think what we will see is that if we do see a pull up to that level, you know, there's a couple of percent in that, we'll see a couple of percent in each of these, and maybe that's where I'll be considering just taking the losses. But I do think there's a little bit of a way that we can get in terms of a recovery before we do that. And we'll look at the Adable chart in a minute, and where I put where the DCA bot opened orders and put the safety trades in. Quickly, we'll just take a look at the 3Commas graphs. I do prefer the 3C tools data, but just for you know, just for people that are used to the 3Commas charts, we have, you know, 345 slightly different numbers, which is interesting. Profit by day, again, we talked about these last week. A couple of losses, but you know, we rebuilt the bots around this area, and we did see some pretty sizable daily profits in there that have contributed well. We have seen that start to pull back now that we're on a pullback. We do run a lot of short bots, so we want those bots to open when we're in an overbought state. So we're not in overbought right now because we've had massive sell-offs. And again, just to look profit by pair, you know, ADA bulls start to pull back because we've been in a trade for 6 days on both the leveraged Ethereum trade, which is 2x, the 3x token, and the ADA bull 3x token. We've been in them for around 6 days. Pre's done pretty well. Again, MTV, we've talked through those. So I guess to just cover off ADA bull, and actually where I almost kicked myself for not taking my own advice, is we entered the first base order on the bot here. Now, as you can see, we then had 1, 2, 3, 4 safety orders sat below it. Now, if we'd have put a timeout on the trade, if you've not seen my previous videos, I'm not a fan of a stop loss. I'd rather naturally have a timeout on there and actually that we'd close a trade after a period of time as opposed to a percentage amount. And, you know, again, reasons for that, I don't want to get wicked out of trades. Frustratingly, particularly when there's a lot of volatility in the market, it can be overly frustrating to get wicked out a lot, and particularly if you've put them at, you know, 5-10%, it can be a big chunk of your account. But what we can see is if we'd have put a timeout in and around what I'd say is an average timeout across all of my bots, which is somewhere between the kind of 28 to 35 hour mark, then what we'd have seen is all of these safety orders would have filled, and these all filled in where these little B circles are down here. So we'd have been fully into that trade here. Now, 33 hours from entering the trade would end us here. And what that would mean is that we would be somewhat 8% or 6%, 6 or 7%. We'd have taken a 6 or 7% loss, but we'd have avoided all of this. And equally, we'd have likely have got back into trades down here and made some additional money. So slightly frustrated. I do think, like I say, there's a little bit of room for a pullback. I think what I would be looking at is if we break back down and get a candle close, maybe below here, it'll be quite a hefty loss, but I think we'll be looking to take that. Equally, again, we seem to have this kind of double bottom pattern. Now, hoping that if that does break out, we'll should see a distance of around that back up. Whilst it don't get us all the way there, you know, it gives us a good basis to start looking at, you know, whether price will continue up in that uptrend. And then again, you know, we're almost touching back down to where we saw some previous support as well. So I mean, you know, not all is lost, but I feel like when we get to the next update, it's going to be either quite a substantial loss or maybe a gain. Who knows? We'll just have to wait and see. So I think that's going to be it for this video and this update. Again, lots more content to come on the channel. I'm going to aim to try and get one of these out every every couple or few days. I'm also going to continue to write the monthly passive income updates across my miners and 3Commas bots and nerds and everything else that I've got going on Medium. So again, I'll leave a link in the description for that below. And if you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. And that's it for this video. So thank you everyone, and goodbye.